Good evening, everybody. This is our AEW Dynamite review of the 16th of February. I'm Jason, and this is, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Russell.
So we're going to give you our takes on the last Dynamite, and then just we'll give you our any predictions or any ideas and any thoughts, and hopefully it'll be. Tony Khan will be watching this video and he'll take it all on board. So, we never know. So we're starting off, first of all, Russell, with CM Punk interview.
Yeah.
So I can't really criticize any CM Punk interview, really. I think he's one of the best people on the mic, really. So as I said, I thought it was really good, really engaging. I like the fact that I think it's good to start that off with a CM Punk segment because everyone's always into it. I just think it did what it said on the tin. Really, I think it sold the pay-per-view match really well. MJF looked like he was genuinely not ready for CM Punk. So I think as I said, no complaints with it really. Just a very good interview for me.
Yeah. Agreed. It was a good promo. Punk is very good on the microphone. I agree. And we've got a dog collar match. I think the commentators said it was only the second one in AEW history.
Yeah.
The first one being Cody Rhodes and the late great Brody Lee. So that'd be interesting. And obviously they named the time and the place as the next pay-per-view, Revolution. So I had a feeling they would do that. It's too big a match to leave off a big show like that. So yeah,
100%. I agree. I think it's a really big match, and I think especially with MJF getting the win first of all, I think it makes it even bigger. So I think that'll be well. I mean, the pay-per-view, we can talk about it later, but I think that's looking like a really strong lineup so far, I think. So that was the first bit of the show, and then we had another interview segment, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and Christian Cage for some reason. So first thing I noticed about this is, and I've criticised Jungle Boy in the past for not having very much charisma or personality. He seemed to actually have a good line on this interview. So I think someone's writing his promos. It seemed like quite a witty line that he had, which I thought was good. And he does seem a little bit more comfortable on interviews now, which I think is his really big weakness. So I think he's potentially I'm not sure if it's a mega star, but potentially quite a big star. But I think, the fact that he's lacks charisma and personality, I think is kind of thing that's not really going for him too much. But what I would say, if I was doing creative, I would want to try and give him a little bit more of a different gimmick, something like, I'd keep the Jungle Boy thing, because obviously everyone knows that, but maybe make him some sort of like heartthrob for the ladies, because he seems like he's very popular with the young ladies. So I'd kind of go down that road, go more down that road, kind of pull him away from the tag team and try and build some sort of personality off that, because whatever it is that he does or he likes, if you can build that into his character, he might find that he's got some sort of personality. So that's my feeling on that, really. And the only other thing that I thought about this one was, I just wonder what Christian Cage is doing, really. So I don't really know what the point of him is, really. I mean, he came into the promotion as a big name, but he hadn't really, apart from really the Omega match, he hadn't really done much, to be honest. So I'm just thinking, I'd rather put him in some sort of story, like, even if he's not necessarily wrestling, but something that's a bit more meaningful. So I'm hoping that the Lucha Jungle Boy and Lucha will split. Jungle Boy, they'll go singles, and then maybe Christian Cage will feud with Jungle Boy or something like that. that's because I think Christian Cage would make a better heel, actually, I think. But so that's so I think it's positives there. I think Jungle Boy, there's a little bit of improvement on the character, but I think he's still lacking a little bit of personality for me.
Yeah, I agree with the Christian thing. I'm a bit confused about that myself. As you say, he was brought in as a big character, featured pretty much every week, and now he's been restricted to this new role with Jurassic Express, which seems a little odd, really. Um, what was the witty line that you were referring to?
I can't. Do you know? I can't remember the exact line, but it was some sort of. Um, I can't remember. He made some line and he sort of said, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that." It was some really kind of double entendre line, or I don't know. I can't remember the exact quote, but it was very. I thought, oh, that was interesting, and because I would, when I see Jungle Boy, I'm expecting to be like not blown away with anything or not interested. But I thought, oh, that was slightly interesting, and that was the first time I've been even slightly interested in Jungle Boy. So if whoever's writing his promos, then I give them a tick in the box, really.
Yeah, he's an interesting one. I mean, he's a great wrestler, and decent talent, but he's not very comfortable talking or doing interviews. So yeah, I do think they need to kind of work on that a bit with him.
Mm.
That's my take.
Yeah, that's right. But I don't think it's the end of the world because I think it will get better. I think inevitably, but I do think that it would benefit from some kind of tweak on his gimmick as well. Just to sort of, because he is a young guy and he seems to be over with the female fans. So I'd go down that road really, personally, because I think but I think he's got a lot of potential. I'm not sure if he's one of the pillars. I don't know if I'd make him one of the pillars myself, but I can see why people like him because he's very young and he's got obviously got a good future. But that's my thought. So the next we've got a match next. We've got Brian Danielson against Lee Moriarty, and this was very very good because I've never seen. I can't remember seeing a Brian Danielson match that hasn't been excellent. To be honest, I think he's the best mat wrestler in AEW. I don't think it's that close either. So as I said, when you see Brian Danielson on the card, you're going to get a good match, and it was a good match really. There was the Lee Moriarty thing. I'm very much saying very similar things to what I said about Wheeler Yuta. It's got Moriarty's probably a little more talented than Yuta, but I think he's lacking some kind of gimmick, some kind of thing that puts him over different. Because the problem is, in my opinion, there's a lot of wrestlers that are very good wrestlers, but you need something to make you stand out that makes you different. And I don't think Moriarty stands out as anything different. So I would be looking at, because creative is my speciality really. So I would be looking at repackaging him in some kind of, interesting gimmick or personality, because they mentioned some sort of tiger nickname for him or something, which I think could be interesting. Could use some kind of tiger mask kind of gimmick with him, because he's got all the talent, but he just doesn't look different or special really. So we need to sort of wheel out the WWE gimmick machine. I think a little bit, not stupid, not the stupid one, but I just give him some sort of New Japan look would kind of work, I think. So that's basically that's the people. But on the match itself, there was a couple of really nice spots which kind of I thought, wow, that's really good. There was the knee strike when Danielson was hanging him off the ropes. That was really good. That looked really dangerous. I've not seen that before. I really like that. And then there was also the other one where they did it was like a double crab palm strike on the ground or something. I don't exactly know what that was, but found that really, really, really interesting. So really good. So I thought it was a great match. I thought, maybe give it 4 stars. I don't find Moriarty particularly standing out. Any apart from his fact, he's a very good wrestler, but I think he could need to stand out. But Danielson's on a real roll, and if he carries on, I can see him winning a major title sooner rather than later. I think. So that's me.
Yeah. I enjoyed the match. Decent technical match. Danielson was on offense for most of it, but I guess against somebody like Moriarty, that's kind of to be expected, really. Yeah, I agree with what you said on the two spots that you mentioned. Were you talking about when they were both on the mat and they were locked together and they were hitting each other?
Yeah, like some kind of I don't know what it was, some kind of double crab thing, and then they stood on their hands and palm striking each other. That was just a really good spot. Never seen it, so I'm not sure if anyone's done it, but I just thought it was really good. So like like the fact that worked that out really.
I've seen that a couple of times before, but I can't remember who was in the match. So yeah, and then after the match, after Danielson's win, he demanded an answer from Moxley on about the offer that he put on the table. So that was the next segment.
That's right. Yeah. Have you got? Do you want to go on that one then, Russell? Well, do you want to go first on that one then?
Unless you've got anything else to say about the match.
No. That's me for that. That's me for the match there.
Okay. Yeah, I thought Mox had some interesting comments, saying about how a team between the two of them could work, etc. And it kind of left everything still up in the air because he said, "Well, I'm not saying yes, but I'm not saying no either." So I'm just wondering what's going to happen next. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I thought it was very good again. I thought it might have been a little bit long, really. The Moxley interview, I thought kind of, probably a little bit long, but it was good. I think and obviously this is another big match now for Evolution as well. So this is a huge match. I personally, my feeling is that they'll wrestle. I'm not sure who will win. I'm not sure on that. I would suspect it's Danielson, but I'm not sure. But then I think they will team up. I think they'll face each other at Revolution. They'll kind of like respect each other or something, and then I think they'll then start this faction, which I think is I find that very interesting. Just hope they bring the right people in if they do that. Though I don't want them to bring some kind of like mid card no opener in. I'd like them to bring someone in who's actually got some talent, really. So, but I think it's really good. I like how they've done it. The AEW's got they're not very predictable. I don't think there's a lot of things that they're swervy on, and I find that interesting. So I didn't really know which way this was going to go, but I like the outcome. I like the match. It's a big match, and then obviously after that, I 100% think we'll have an alliance for certain time at least. So that's my thought, really.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. I don't have anything else to say about that, really. Just as you say, it'd be interesting to see where they go with it next. I did wonder if they might end up making a surprise appearance in one of the two tag team battle royals and take one of the spots in the three-way for the championship. But I don't know. That might, if they do that, that might end up being a little bit rushed. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't feel they will, because I feel like this is coming after Revolution. I've got my own thoughts on that battle royal, tag team battle royal. Anyway, I don't feel like they'll be involved in it. Could be wrong. Could be another swerve, but I feel like it's going to go down after Revolution, after they've had the match. I think, but we'll wait and see. Interesting stuff, though.
Yeah.
So the next interview segment was Keith Lee. not got much to say about this one, really. Thought it was a good interview. I think he's got some charisma. I like the fact that he said, I'm going after the TNT title. So he's already told people where he's going. I like that. And I think it's a good decision because I wouldn't have wanted really to see him go straight for the world title. I think that would be a little bit rushed for me. But I like the idea that he said, I'm coming for the TNT title. So whether he wins or not this ladder match, I think then that's his destination. So quite that gives some interesting matchups possibly then as well. Depending if Sammy's still the champion or whatever. So I like that. Just it keeps this guy in your mind, even though these people are on the show. It keeps people. Oh yeah, Keith Lee's still here type of thing. I like that, even if it's just a 2-minute interview. I think it's worthwhile. I think
definitely, yeah. It makes sure that you don't forget about these wrestlers, even if they're not on the show, as you say. Yeah, and that leads on nicely to the next match, which was a qualifier for the Face the Revolution ladder match. Yeah, interesting. Should we move on to that? Because
do you want to start on that, or do you want to start on that, Russell? Or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's interesting that there's another big man that's been inserted into the match. It's another dominant performance from Wardlow with the multiple power bombs at the end. So we've got Keith Lee, we've got Wardlow. In your opinion, who else do you see potentially being added to the match?
I personally, I believe that Jeff Hardy will be a mystery attendant, and I think Jeff Hardy will win. That's my super major prediction. I ain't even in the promotion yet. I think he'll sign. I think he'll come into ladder matches, maybe as a mystery even, and I think he'll win the match. I don't understand. Like, this is what, like we said last week, I like Wardlow and I like Keith Lee. Actually, I don't understand why they're in a ladder match. It doesn't make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense for the match. For me, I'd prefer to have more of the high flyers in that. I think maybe put one big man in, but having two big men in the match, I don't get that booking myself. But that's just me.
No, it is a bit random. It makes you wonder as well how the match is going to play out with two guys that big, fighting over a ladder. Yeah, different. What did you think of the match itself between Wardlow and Max Caster?
Well, to me this was a great match because these are two of my favorite wrestlers. I'm a huge, massive Max Caster fan. To me, he's possibly, I would put personally, and this is a bit of a radical take. I would put him as one of the four pillars of AEW. I think this guy is potentially one of the biggest stars in wrestling, in my opinion. I think in a few years, this guy is going to be such a massive star. That's what I think. I mean, might be wrong, but I find the guy incredibly charismatic, more than most people that you'll ever see. I think he's pretty good in the ring. I don't think he's the best wrestler in the world, but his gimmick and his charisma, and I'm not a fan of rapping personally, but I love the raps, and I would tune into a show just to listen to his raps. Really, I think he is amazing. I like the team as well. I like the Acclaimed. I think I wouldn't have a problem with them winning the tag titles at some stage as well. But I just think he's amazing. Even if it's dark or elevation, if Max Caster's on the show, I want to watch that show. So I think, and remember, we're going back now to last year's Revolution, where Scorpio Sky won that match. I don't know if you remember that one. That was a year last year. I don't understand that. I mean, Scorpio Sky for me has got zero charisma, zero interest. I don't think he's got anything exciting about him. I don't think there's anything different about him. And then Max Caster was in that match. Max Caster should have won that match, hands down for me. a million times more charismatic, a million times more interesting than Scorpio Sky for me. So I like the match. I like everything about the match. You know, they tried to cheat to win the match. Wardlow came back and looked dominant again. So it did a typical good Wardlow match. The only thing, like we just mentioned, I don't understand why Wardlow and Keith Lee are in a ladder match. Like you say, I don't know how you're gonna book script a ladder match with two guys lat size in it. I don't understand that, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'm wrong, but it sounds very strange to me. I mean, it will be kind of interesting maybe to see Keith Lee against Wardlow, two big guys meeting, and then that might be something might come of that. I don't know, but the only other thing that I sort of thought about this match was that they're already booking Wardlow as a face in AEW already, even though he's technically still a heel, technically still with MJF, but they're booking him now as a face, which I think is interesting. So even though he's technically still a heel, he's actually a face, really. He's still getting cheered. So I thought that was interesting, and that they're doing that right actually as well. So even though he's not actually said I'm leaving MJF, he's actually turned. I think he's turned face already, really. So and the other thing that I just wanted to mention quickly is that I think they've built Wardlow well. They've built him up slowly rather than they haven't rushed him in. You know, I thought push this guy to the top straight away because he's got some size. But I think they've done it right. They've built him up slowly, and he's got over it with that way with his power, and they've seen the guy evolve really. Whereas you look at someone like Jade Cargill, for example, who's also got some good size and got a very good look, but they've pushed her way too quickly. So I think they've done it right with Wardlow. That's what I'm saying. So that's my opinion.
Because goes back to what we were saying last week about Jade Cargill. But yeah, we can go talk about that till we're blue in the face. You know, as I said last week, I don't think she's ready for the spot that she's been put in. But yeah, we're kind of going off on a tangent here. So
yeah. I think we agree with that. But as I say, you know, we are where we are. So anyway, after that, we had another match straight into Mercedes Martinez against. Oh no, it's an interview. Sorry, Mercedes Martinez at Britt Baker interview. This was. So this was good because it kind of like followed the storyline really about Britt Baker sending people to kind of take out Thunder Rosa. So I thought it was good. It also built up a lot of intrigue about, you know, what happens if I didn't expect Martinez to win the match. So what would happen if she lost and things. I thought it was a little fun thing to bring in Martin Cove as a sensei. I thought that was a fun little thing to bring in. You know, it didn't really mean much, but I just thought it was quite fun. I just thought that was quite a fun thing to do. So I liked it. But one thing that I noticed, I don't know if this is just coincidence, but in the interview that Britt Baker was doing, she mentioned she was undeniable, and I thought that was really interesting because we know who in women's wrestling is undeniable, and that's Tessa Blanchard. And I was thinking, are they teasing some sort of Tessa Blanchard Revolution debut? That would be absolutely amazing if that did that. So that would be fantastic. I don't know, it might just be a coincidence. But when she said I'm undeniable, I was thinking, wow, are we going to get something like that? So I don't know if that just might be nothing, but you never know.
It's funny you say that actually, because I was just thinking the other week that she hasn't actually done much, Tessa Blanchard, since leaving Impact. So yeah, you might be right. Yeah, interesting. I put DMD lays down the law. That's the comment that I put on that particular segment. Who is the sensei? Did you say Martin Cove? I don't know who he is. I don't know anything
Do
about him.
you remember Karate Kid, the movie?
Okay.
He's the guy on the other, not the karate. He's on the other side of the. He was the guy who was training the other guy who was fighting the Karate Kid.
Right. Okay.
And I think he's in that new. I don't watch it, but I think he's in that series called Cobra Kai or something as well. I think.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a bit of a Karate Kid reference. So like some people wouldn't have picked up on it, like obviously like yourself and stuff, and newer fans wouldn't have understood it either. But I thought it was just quite a nice little touch because that's what he said in the movie. It's the same thing line he said in the movies. So I picked up on that. I thought it was quite all right. But they do these things, the AEW, you see. They do these little things, and some people get them and some people don't. But it's still work. I think it's still fun to do them.
Yeah.
So, okay, right. So then we moved on to Hangman Page and Adam Cole.
Yeah.
This was like a little bit of an interview sort of thing, really. But a few things. First thing that I wanted to sort of bring up, and I know we've both seen this meme. It reminded me of the meme with Adam Cole holding the oversized AEW title. Thought that was really funny. So obviously, and that was MJF tweeted that out or shared it on Facebook, whatever. So I just thought that was really funny. So that was just the other thing that reminded me when I saw him. This interview was I think Adam Cole, he does a great interview. But again, the problem is we've got the fact that the AEW title is 3 times the size as Adam Cole, like we've talked about. So, but he does a great interview. You can't deny that. It's just a shame that he's allergic to the gym because that would sort of finish the guy off. Really. I mean, make him a big star. The other thing that I noticed as well is Adam Page. I don't know what character he's playing, but he's coming across as really pathetic with his character. He's not coming across as a guy who's got fire or is a tough guy or a cowboy. He's just coming across as a guy who's really pathetic. I just don't think it's getting over at all, to be honest. I think it's really pathetic, actually. It don't look like a strong champion. Just looks like someone who's I'm a bit, I've lost my confidence all the time. I think, well, we've been through this already, I think, and I don't know why we're still doing this, but that's that's all. That's that. So I wasn't impressed. I was impressed with Adam Cole. I wasn't impressed with Adam Page, but yeah, Adam Page I think has got more of the better look than Adam Cole. So if you put the two Adams together, I think you've got a really big name there. If you could put Adam Cole's personality and his interview skills inside Adam Page, I think you've got an amazing talent. But they're both missing the other side, really. So I thought Adam Cole's promo was great. I liked when he called the Adam Page the other Adam. I thought that was very funny. But another thing that I don't know if you noticed this as well, I think it was during this segment, there was a guy holding a sign up in the crowd saying Adam Cole has a dad bod.
I saw that. Yeah, I noticed
that was really funny. Actually, I just noticed that. I thought that was really funny. So yeah, that was nice. So obviously that was referring to the fact that he's not got a great body as well. So I think this is kind of a common thing that people are noticing now. So I think if I were Tony Khan, I'd say to him, I'd pull him aside and go, okay, you're a star, but you're not getting a title until you look like a champion. That's what I would say. But there we go. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. So over to you, Russell.
Yeah, he just doesn't look like a wrestler. He doesn't look like a champion or a credible superstar at all. So yeah, I put cutting comments from Cole, all a setup ? Because we had Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly running in and attacking Page after the interview. Yeah, I mean, where do we go from here? Adam Cole's still one of the highest ranked contenders for the title. So, is this to set up a potential title match, or what? What are we doing? What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is the Revolution main event, or not main, maybe not main event, but I think this is Revolution title match. I think I'm not sure if they've announced it already, but I think this is the plan. I don't think Adam Cole will win it, and I hope Adam Cole don't win it actually. But I think it'll be a pretty all right wrestling match. I think Adam Cole, he's a good wrestler. It's just that he's not, like we've talked about. I don't think he's really that credible as a top guy. But I think it's going to be a title match. So I won't put money on Adam Cole winning the title.
Well, at least if he did, he'd gain a few pounds.
True, yeah, true. Especially if it's that really the big title as well, because the titles are the same size as him, you see. So there we go. So that's that one. Then after that, so there's a lot again. There's a lot on this show again. It's these last few shows have been really busy. Really a lot going on like that again. So next up we have the Inner Circle tag match, the Jericho and Hager against Santana and Ortiz. Thought this was okay. It was. I'm glad we've had this match now, so we can draw a line under this Inner Circle business. There was a nice pop for Kingston. Obviously, he's the big face going forward now in this feud. It was a good match. Just the fact that we've blown off this feud now, and I like the fact that they gave Santana the win over Jericho as well, rather than just give him a win over Hager or a count out or whatever. I just thought that was really good. Obviously, then that means we're finished now. We don't have to deal with this for much longer. So I think it was good, and it was. I think this match was really, obviously, to put Santana and Ortiz with Kingston, but also to build Jericho and Kingston for the pay-per-view. So I think it ticked those boxes, and the match was okay. I don't think Jericho's winning any 5-star matches anymore, but it was okay. And as I say, it was nice to sort of put a lid on the Inner Circle as well, I think. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I thought the match was solid. Yeah, pleasantly surprised that Santana and Ortiz got the win. I agree that I think they should draw the line under that now and move in a different direction with both parties, to be honest. So
yeah. So that was okay, I think. And I think actually looking forward to that match for the pay-per-view. I think Jericho Kingston. I think it's a really good match. I think Jericho's a little bit limited now with his age, but I think the fact that he's fighting Kingston, I think that'll work really well because I think the style will work as well. So I think it's potentially quite a nice match. And I imagine there'll be some killer promos for that match as well with those two. I think that's going to be really exciting to build up for that. So that was that one. Then we had another interview segment, Red Dragon and the Bucks interview, and obviously it's little Adam Cole as well. That was okay. I like what they're building here. It's a slow burn. I like what they're doing. The teasing a feud between the Bucks and Red Dragon, which I think is going to be amazing. I think it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to that, and I think they're teasing this already. But the one thing that I did notice, which I kind of found a bit, made me. I thought, not sure. I don't like that much. This was the first time I heard about a battle royal in this interview. So I thought, well, why am I only hearing about a battle royal in an interview segment? I'd like them to mention this in the show or on a previous show even, rather than air it in an interview segment with someone. I just didn't like that really. Thought, well, tell me about this battle royal that you meant to be in that I don't never heard of. So unless I've missed it, and I don't think I have, because I don't remember seeing it. But I'm looking forward to it. The potential feud when it does happen, I think it'll be really, really, really good. I think the matches will be amazing as well, possibly like classic matches. So yeah, little interview with little Adam. Really liked it.
We keep going back to that, don't we? Yeah, I thought it was a strong segment. I just put dissension within the ranks ? Because, as you say, I think it's building to a potential match. And I think it's one that a lot of people would want to see. A lot of people are familiar with the Undisputed Era from the NXT days, and the Young Bucks, obviously, one of, if not the best tag team around. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing what comes out of that.
Yeah, yeah. I'll throw a bit of a prediction out here as well because it's kind of relevant to this interview.
Okay.
I think this. I think they advertise, and I think they advertised 2 battle royals to have a triple threat for the tag team titles. I think is that correct?
Yeah,
I think that's right. In it, okay. So what I predict will happen is that the Red Dragon will win one of the battle royals, and the Bucks will win the other. And I think the triple threat will be Red Dragon, the Bucks against Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. But if they don't lose the belts beforehand, which there might be a quick change, but I mean, maybe not. So that'll be interesting because you'll kind of have like the start of the feud, but yet it'll be, will the team together and eliminate the Luchasaurus Jungle Boy, or will they end up fight? That's going to be really, really interesting. So I predict that's the match for Revolution. Young Bucks, Red Dragon versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus for the titles in a triple threat. I think that'll be potentially a pretty amazing match again. And then you're still saving the Red Dragon Bucks later as well. The singles match. So that's my prediction on them. I think it'll be. I would imagine it'll be Revolution if they go down that way as well.
Yeah, you might be right there. It'd definitely be an interesting match if they go down that route. Who would you see winning it, coming out on top in that one?
Certainly wouldn't see the if I was guessing again, and if my prediction comes true, I think Red Dragon will win the titles, and then they'll start a feud with the Bucks, and then the Bucks will win the titles from Red Dragon. That's what I think will happen. I can't see. There's no way that I can see Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus coming out of that match with the titles. I don't think they've done very much, and I think they're ready to split up to take Jungle Boy as a singles anyway. I think so. I think what they want is they want in Red Dragon and they want in Bucks for the title for a title program. So whether the Bucks win or whether the Red Dragon win, I personally think it'll be a Red Dragon, but I don't know. They are quite new, so I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky one, but I think that's what I think the match will be. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah. So any more comments on that, Russell?
No, not that I can think of. I was just going to mention, as you say, it would be interesting if that does happen, if Red Dragon do end up winning the belts, because, as you say, they are quite new to the company. But maybe it is their time. Who knows?
I think it'd be a shock result. Then it obviously gives the Bucks. Then the Bucks will be able to beat them for the titles. So I think that's there might be quite a quick title change, maybe, or maybe the following pay-per-view. I'm not sure, but that's what I think. But we'll see. Anything can happen, really. So after that, we had another match, Mercedes Martinez versus Thunder Rosa. This was a good match. It was a good women's match, actually. They're both very talented. I liked Thunder Rosa's outfit. Look, reminded me of Kill Bill. Thought it was really nice. I like that. So you should wear that more. She should wear that more often. I just like that. I like that. It was a good match. And she recovered well from the broken table as well, I thought. Obviously that wasn't meant to happen, but that's why live TV is quite good. So they still managed to do some kind of spot on the table, which looks a little bit more dangerous, but they still managed it. So yeah, as I say, I like the match. I didn't dislike the match. It was a good women's match. It was better than a lot of the women's matches that they've had before. So and obviously there's a lot coming off and this, and also I like the post-match angle as well, where Martinez kind of respected Thunder Rosa, and then they both got beaten down. So which I think potentially setting up a kind of a tag match with Dr. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, against Martinez and Thunder Rosa. I think that could potentially be quite a nice match, and then obviously we're building up for a Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker match as well, which probably, you would imagine it would happen at Revolution. I don't know. I wouldn't imagine they'll save it till after that, but so I think we've got maybe I'd say a double a tag match before that, and then I'd say that that will probably be the women's title match at Revolution. I think, unless Tessa Blanchard turns up, which I would like that, but we don't know. The only thing I want about this Britt Baker faction is, I think Rebel is really surplus to requirements now. Really, I expected her to kind of get in the ring and do stuff. She hasn't done. Now Jamie Hayter's there and everyone else is knocking around, and Sensei's there, and I don't really know why Rebel's there anymore. So either move her off, make her into a single star, or but I just don't really want to see her really anymore, because I don't really think she gives anything to this group, really. That's me, Russell.
Yeah, it was a good match. It was a physical match. There were a few botches in there, as you say, including the attempted spot with the table, which, as you say, they still managed to pull off to a certain extent. But I don't think it happened in the way that it was meant to. So that was a bit of a shame. I agree with what you said about Rebel. Definitely surplus to requirements. She doesn't really do anything anymore. We're harking back to the days of that little show that she used to have every week, the interview.
Yeah.
And they're not doing that anymore. So why is she there? Why is she still with Britt Baker? That doesn't really make any sense. As you say, I think a potential tag match could be interesting. Potentially going forward, I could see Thunder Rosa possibly winning the title. I think she's ready for that now. Britt Baker's had it for a while, so yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think if they do that match, I think Thunder Rosa will win. I think we need to move. I think Britt Baker's had a good run and she's been a really good champion, but I think it's time to give someone else a run with it. And I think probably Thunder Rosa is probably the best place to do that right now. I think so. So that was good. The next interview segment was, or vignette, I suppose, was Malachi Black I think his vignettes are amazing. One of the most creative people in the AEW, I think. I love the gimmick. I love everything about Malachi Black and the House of Black. I love it all. So I just want to see more of this group, really. So I think they're one of those kind of interviews and vignettes that you need to rewatch because there's a lot of stuff in them. I think you find, oh, I want to watch that again. So I like that. You think that, and then they advertised as well after that. They advertised the tag match, I think, which was the House of Black versus Penta and Pac. A couple of things on this one. Originally they were billed as the Knights of the Black Throne, which was the wrong name, which was supposed to be the Kings of the Black Throne, and now they're being billed as the House of Black. So I don't understand why someone can't make a decision on what the team's called. Really, this is the third attempt now. So I love the stable, but whoever's responsible for doing this, can we just settle on what they're called? I thought they were the Kings of the Black Throne before. That's what they wrestled under. The second time, because the first time they got the name wrong. So yeah, I just want to know what these guys are called. Right? What are we going to call them now? Because I don't know. That just I think that kind of thing just annoys me where there's lack of continuity and stuff, I think. But I want to just throw a prediction out now. This is another one of my amazing predictions that may or may not come true. I think what will happen in this match, which I think is next week as well, when it's House of Black, Kings of the Black Throne, or whatever they're called on next week, against Penta and Pac, I think Penta will turn heel and join the House of Black. I think it'll be the Pentagon Dark or whatever his new gimmick is. I think he'll join them. I think they'll beat down Pac, and I think they'll join the House of Black. So, which I think as well could possibly set up a match between Pentagon Dark and Pac for pay-per-view. So I think that's pretty exciting as well. So that's my wild prediction for next week. So let's see what happens there. So that's my thoughts on that, Russell.
Yeah, I think you're right with your prediction. I think that's probably the route they're going to go down with this one. Yeah, I agree with what you said about the name. They need to make their mind up what the team name is going to be going forward. I get a bit confused with these particular vignettes, to be honest, because there's a lot going on and a lot to take in, and it's very dark and etc. etc. So I'm not really sure what's going on. But yeah, I agree. They're a good team. Interesting characters. I like Malachi Black a lot. But yeah, I didn't actually make any notes about that particular segment because, as I say, I didn't really get what was going on. So
yeah. I know what you're saying. I think that's part of the idea behind those vignettes. I don't think they're meant to make sense as well. I think they are meant to get you thinking. So I think that is the point as well for them sometime that you kind of think, well, what does that mean? And you've got to sort of work it out. So I think that's part of the idea behind it. So maybe it works. I don't know. So we're now on to the main event.
Yeah.
TNT title. Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin. This was a bit of a dream match, really, I think, in a way. Two of the best young stars in AEW, maybe the two best, possibly even. Really good match. It could have been a pay-per-view match, really, I think. So yeah, again, just a really good match. I love both of these two guys. I think both of these people, both wrestlers, will be world champions as well in the future years. So I think it's nice to see them wrestle. I think it would a pay-per-view type match. So having it in a TV main event, I think was good. The only problem I've got with this is why is Sammy Guevara carrying 2 titles? As somebody in AEW needs to understand what an interim title actually is. An interim title is where the person who has the title can't defend it, and the interim title is the title that they have in interim until the title comes along. So once the title comes along, the interim title should then be obsolete. So you shouldn't be carrying 2 titles. So that doesn't make sense. And actually, funnily enough, Jim Ross, who quite often comes across as quite senile, actually did pick up on that. So, he sort of said, why has he got 2 titles? So there you go. So that's just another thing where I don't think someone is really taking a lot of time on things. Someone should be asking the question, why has he got 2 titles? It maybe thinks it looks good, but it doesn't really make sense why you'd have 2 titles, really. So somebody said he's unified the titles. Well, that's not what an interim title is. So that was, I don't know who that was. That was someone else on commentary, I think. So I don't know. But other than that, the match was great, really. The interference at the end kind of protected Darby as well. So he didn't look like, he took a really big loss. And I do like Andrade, except for when he's talking. So I think I'm not opposed to Andrade versus Darby or Sammy Guevara even. I mean, I'm wondering if they're going to do some sort of triple threat with this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm sort of thinking, which potentially would be a really big match. I think for Andrade, we talked about Andrade before, haven't we? Anyway, but I think he's a very big name, potentially a very big star. But they're continuously dropping the ball every time. So if they can make some sort of meaningful storyline with him, and I don't understand what his gimmick is either, because I thought it was Andrade the Idol, which would tend to me that he's some kind of sex symbol guy, or is he some guy with money who just buys people off, some rich drug lord? I don't understand what his gimmick is. So they need to just revisit that and just decide what gimmick he's got, and then move forward with him, and not let him do interviews every week because he can't interview very well, or you can't understand him well. But other than that, I think I like him as a wrestler. I think he's got a great look. So if they go down there, obviously he's going to fight for the TNT title at some stage, and personally, I think he'll win it, because I think that how you get Andrade over is not by doing interviews, it's by having him in the ring. So I think having him in the ring every week defending the TNT title will get him over, and especially if you can decide what gimmick he's got, I think that'd be even better. So I like this, and hopefully they can do something with Andrade right this time.
Yeah, Andrade's skills definitely lie with the wrestling side of things more than the talking side, without doubt. The match itself was very strong. I liked the spot they did when Darby was hanging on the ropes and Sammy came off the top rope with a somersault senton. I thought that was really nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they are potentially building towards a 3-way feud between Sammy, Darby, and Andrade. I'd like to see that. I think it'd be a good match. So yeah. Tick, tick.
Yeah. So overall, again, if we look at this card again, and there wasn't anything that I really disliked about it, I don't think. Whereas last couple of weeks, there's been something that I thought was really badly done. I don't think there was this time. I think it was a very solid show, really, from start to finish, really. The wrestling was good. The Danielson match was very good quality. The main event was very good. Most of the interviews and the segments were also very good. So even the women's match was good, actually, for a women's match. So I thought it was a very strong show, really. And obviously, when you're building up to Revolution now, which is probably week after next or something, not sure. It's only a few weeks away anyway. So I think it was a very good show, building really well for Revolution. So yeah, overall, I thought it was a good show.
Yeah, I think the pay-per-view is the first weekend in March.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was a very solid show this week, an improvement on last week's without doubt. Yeah, looking forward to the pay-per-view.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's the show. So one thing we're going to talk about just quickly after this is a bit of big AEW news, which is I'm kind of doing the rounds, and it's Cody Rhodes, obviously him and Brandy leaving AEW. So we thought we'd just give our opinions and predictions as well on what will happen. So don't know if you do you want to go first, Russell? Do you want to what do you think will happen with Cody and Brandy going forward?
To be honest, I don't know. A lot of people are saying that it's a work, and that it's all a storyline designed to build Cody and Brandy up as heels. Um, I'm not so sure. Yeah, I mean, if that's what they're doing, it's a bit of a weird way of going about it. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I actually do think it's a work. So um again, I don't have any evidence. This is just my feeling. I think it is a work. I don't think he'll go back to WWE. I don't think he will. I don't think he's really up for it. I don't think they've treated him well in the past. I
No,
would be surprised he went to WWE, or it's possible. I think what will happen is that he will be out of AEW for a little while. I think he will then turn up in the NWA. I think he will beat Matt Cardona for the NWA World Title. I think he'll start a faction in the NWA, and then I think they'll bring that faction to AEW. That's what I think. I think it'll be a heel faction. That's my prediction. So I reckon you'll see him. I don't think he'll turn up at Revolution. I think there'll be stories going. Is he going to turn? I don't think he'll turn up at Revolution. I think he'll turn up at the next MWA main event or pay-per-view. Um, I'm not sure who would come with him, but there's quite a few candidates. There's a lot of people still free agents knocking around, and there's a few. There's one particular person who's left AEW. The rumors are that he's going to WWE, but that could also change, and he could also join Cody and come back with his new faction. So I think it is a work, and I think it's been really, really well done. I think my feeling is that it's probably been planned for a long time. So all this about him leaving, I don't think he's left, or if he has left, he's probably got some kind of handshake agreement that he will go somewhere else and then come back. And maybe it's already. I think it'll be. I feel it'll be the NWA though. That seems to fit with Cody Rhodes. His dad was NWA champion. He's been NWA champion before also, and I just think, if he was to bring back like a Four Horsemen stable, which was my original prediction before he announced he was leaving, that could well be something that could be very interesting. It could even be some. I'm not sure about an NWA invasion, but you could bring a few of the big names from there. Well, I'll tell you. I mean, like for example, let's throw out. There's a tag team that's still knocking around. The Briscoes. They've been lots. There's been lots of rumors that they're coming to AEW, so they're potentially a team. We've also got there's obviously multiple teams in NWA that could jump to AEW with Cody. So the only other thing that I think could happen is that he does go to WWE, but then he just basically swerves them and stands up at a pay-per-view and pulls off his t-shirt and says, "I love AEW," and walks out on the promotion. I think that could happen as well. And that could be like fucking mega heat. I mean, it could go from being the most hated man in AEW to the biggest babyface in the space of like one day if that happened. So I think that's a possibility as well. I don't think I think Tony Khan would pay out his contract or would pay any legal fees if he did that in WWE. So that's my but I think it'll be the first option. I think he'll go NWA, win the world NWA title, and come to AEW with the NWA title. That's my prediction.
Okay.
So we'll have to wait and see on that one, but it's a very interesting storyline, this, though, if it is a storyline.
Yeah, I mean, when you sent me the message about it earlier this week, I was like, "What?" It really threw me. But it's an interesting one. I was reading up a bit on it earlier in the week, it would just be interesting to see what happens next with that one.
Yeah, very interesting. So, whatever happens, it'll be big news. Whatever the situation is. So that's good. So right. So I think that's it. So unless you've got any final comments, Russell, we'll sign off for this week's review.
No, nothing I can think of. I think we've pretty much covered it all.
Great stuff. Right, and so that was the review for the 16th of February, 2022 AEW Dynamite. So we'll be back next week, hopefully with another review. So goodbye from me and say goodbye for you as well, Russell.
Yeah, bye everyone.
See you, everyone.